I'm DJ Rasp and welcome to another edition of Kitchen Kutz. I'm joined today with a very special guest all the way from Yorkshire. We have Fender 247. How you doing?
I'm alright, thank you. Thank you for having us over for this.
Thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, honestly a pleasure.
So let's start by asking you, how did you get into the DJ journey? How did you get into scratching and all that type of stuff?
Quite early on actually, probably compared to some people. When I was probably about 14 years old, listened to loads of like hardcore kind of mixtapes and stuff and was really interested in that sort of music. And then one of my friends in my class got like a set of turntables from his older brother. It was like, it wasn't Technics decks, it was like I don't know if it was Gemini or some brand like that, but it was like an all-in-one kind of console.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Well, it was actually worse than that because somebody had kind of bastardised it and chopped it all up, and the two turntables were in like two different boxes.
Right, okay.
Just like plywood boxes basically. The platters on the turntables were like 10 inches wide, so you put a 12-inch on it, it would overhang on the sides. Like the mixer he had with it was like this realistic mixer. I think Realistic was the brand, was it? Tandy brand,
Tandy,
remember them?
yeah.
Didn't have a crossfader.
Right.
Like you needed like two hands to push it up fader up. It was like proper stiff. And anyway, I like went round to his house and was like mixing with him, really getting into it. And then I ended up buying him off him. He says, I'm going to get some better decks. I'll sell you all this for dead cheap.
Okay.
And it was just like, yeah. So I got it, got a slightly better mixer, and just kind of learned to mix really more before I got into the scratching.
Yeah.
Was always interested in scratching, but it was more from listening to, I don't know if anyone's heard like DJ Sai. He's like big in the sort of
like happy hardcore style.
Well, it wasn't. It was kind of before the big happy hardcore thing. It was the hardcore,
hardcore and the
like
rave scene.
That kind of era. Yeah, like he used to go to a night in Leeds called Arc. That was my first kind of rave experience.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Carl on the way over, actually, it kind of changed my life them years. Like just totally love the music and the culture. Like the scratching then that I was listening to then, it wasn't how I perceived it at the time. It was really more focused on the record than the crossfader.
Yeah.
So he was doing like what I now understand is like a kind of tear pattern. And I'd hear this kind of swirly sound he was doing, think I want to do that. And me and my mates were all the same. We'd all like get together on a weekend and get on turntables and all be like trying to get our heads around it.
Okay.
And I guess like fast forward a couple of years, one of my friends got a lot more interested in kind of slower beats and hip hop. Probably about that time I was also getting more interested in faster stuff, but breakbeat like drum and bass and jungle and those sorts of things. So anyway, ended up round at his house a lot, like scratching, and he'd bought like a load of like DJ Shadow records and stuff like that. So it's kind of time-wise probably up 96 maybe, 97.
Yeah. Introducing,
yeah. And what was the other one? Preemptive Strike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is wicked record.
Very good EP.
So I remember like watching him scratch, and we were just kind of starting to find out about turntablism really. I don't know, because we lived right out in the country, it wasn't that accessible. Like no one really seemed to be into it. But we'd like found out about scratch perverts and people like that, and I remember like watching tutorial videos that they were putting out and really thinking like, this is really interesting. I didn't know scratching was this. I thought it was just a lot more kind of simplistic.
Yeah.
And then when we started getting into the crossfader techniques and stuff, it's like, whoa, there's a lot to learn here.
Yeah.
And then fast forward like another year or two, I moved to music college. I was like really kind of interested in getting into music production as well. And it's always been a bit of a thing for me, like Carl was saying, he had the choice to go kind of either way with it. I stupidly kind of took on trying to do both, which made both take a lot longer. Yeah. And at different points in my life, I guess both different aspects have taken a backseat. Like sometimes I've been dead more on the turntables, and then other times they've kind of gone to one side and I've been producing a bit more. And basically spent a couple of decades trying to get good at both of them. And then I guess the last 10 years really has been really more focused on production until I met with Carl. Like the thing at Mike L's house, that was actually, like I've always worked in music shops traditionally, and I met Mike through that. Actually, like years ago when I lived in Leeds, put a couple of nights on and Mike DJ'd at those. Oh, cool. So years later, he walked into the shop where I was working. He was like, oh, it's you. Like, he was like, I'm about to do like a routine at DMC. He was like, do you want to come round and be in like a focus group with a few other guys from Leeds and like come and kind of critique it basically, because he knew I was into it. So again, I was honoured to do that. Went round to his house a couple of times and met a load of guys from Leeds who I kind of knew their faces from seeing them out and about. Got chatting to them, and Carl's name came up because when they said I lived in Skipton, they were like, oh, you know Carl? It was like, no, never heard of him. So yeah, got back, found him on SoundCloud, and that's the kind of the story of how we met. Yeah, a couple of years later he got in touch. We're very kind of the same in the way we approach things, but for example, Carl is always been traditionally more focused on like close fader patterns.
Yeah.
Me, when I kind of got into the crossfader stuff, I think it's going back to them Scratch Perverts videos when they showed me the 2-tap orbit. It was like, that's the scratch, and I spent like ages and ages trying to like get that scratch. And I'll be honest, that's the first one that I kind of locked down where I felt like happy with it. And I think I leaned into it a bit too hard for ages, not trying to push it any further, because it's like, no, I've got this one. But then when I met Carl, and I was already aware of like the close fader stuff, but I wasn't really getting it. But when he started breaking down some of the like boomerang patterns he was doing, and the different way you can move around the sounds, say with a scratch sentence, how you can move through the words, coming backwards with a boomerang into different words and stuff. It was like, So my last 12 months probably have been more on the turntables than producing, but the production's coming into it as well, because like Carl was saying, we're starting to make all our own beats, make all our own sounds and stuff. Like I love synthesizers as well, so it's really nice finally being able to actually kind of finally bring the two things properly together. I think it's all works in progress still, but definitely we feel like now after a year we're starting to get a format now. We're starting to know what works really well, and like the first couple of projects were a very different approach to what we're doing now. The first ones were really more about sort of having a beat as like a bass, and then layering maybe a couple more sounds over, like maybe I'd be scratching with the bass part, Carl would be scratching with the lead over the top. But it seems to evolve more now into that we're just making more just like little breaks, little musical ideas. Yeah. And then we'll maybe juggle with those, which the juggling's definitely come into it more for us both. Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of where we're up to it at the moment.
Well, so that sounds good.
Yeah,
man.
No, it's good. It's good.
So with your production and that, like, what type of stuff have you been producing over the years? Yeah, and you know, have you made any releases, or where can people find your music and that?
Yeah, I've got some stuff out there. I've always like struggled, I think, as a lot of producers do, to feel confident enough in my own productions to want to actually really put them out there. Like I started, it must be probably about 1998, I think it would be. Okay. I got an MC303.
Oh wow!
At the time,
the Groove Box.
Yeah, the Groove Box. Well, but in my head at the time, I was aware of 303s, like the acid sound basically, but didn't know that was a TB303. Very different thing to the thing I actually ended up getting. But the thing I got, you could sequence drums on, so I started learning how to like program beats. And then when I went to music college and ultimately ended up working in these shops, met loads of cool musicians, all types of musicians. So people taught me how to drum. People taught me about keys. I've kind of got to the point now, just like self-taught. I can play drums a bit, I can play piano a bit, crap on strings. But you know, like all these things, all these things come into play with production. It's all useful. Like particularly like keyboard theory. Weirdly, it's always something I've avoided and kind of not scared me, but kind of intimidated me. I couldn't understand why this thing I was looking at all the time was laid out how it was. And it was probably actually in lockdown. Just it was like, right, I'm gonna understand this, and just day by day would pick something about music theory I didn't know much about and be like, right, I'm just gonna watch loads of YouTube videos, hear what loads of people have to say about it, then go in studio and spend the afternoon actually trying to make something based on that. And I did that for just probably 3-4 weeks. And by the end of it, it's like, right, I totally understand now about different modes. I totally understand the relationship between major and minor, and you know, just all these different things. It's not like there's one magic bit of info, but all these things help. So now, like when we're doing these backing tracks, like for Jeffers, this track we're doing, just done a beat for him this week. He sent me like a link to a beat on just a site where you can download them, like a sort of piano track with like kind of hip hoppy drums and like a nice piano. And he was like, "Can you make something like that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And, you know, straight away, it's like something he's happy with. So it's all this knowledge is now finally actually becoming useful. So.
That's great. And that's with a rapper that you're working with, is it?
Yeah. To be honest, it's not a guy I know very well. I've just met him a few times, but like Carl says, he's a gifted rapper. He can just freestyle and Like what we're finding is a bit challenging is he wants to write something specifically to these beats we're doing. Whereas when I hear him freestyle, it's like, no, let's hit record, man. It's like, it's wicked. But he's like, no. He's like, he knows how he wants it as well. So
it's quite specific.
Which you know, I respect massively. It's like for anyone making music, you know, if it's, why bother doing it if it's not exactly how you want it?
No, it's fair point. That like.
Going back to my own stuff, I probably just after lockdown did like a drum and bass album, which I always intended to kind of push. I can't help but feeling I rushed it a little bit at the end, just in the rush to kind of get it over the line. It was the second album I finished. I did like a hip hop one as well.
When did you make that?
That took a lot longer because I was trying to source all the sounds for that, going through like loads of old records. Like I inherited like a massive box of vinyl off my dad's uncle when he died. And there was just loads of random stuff, loads of jazz, loads of classical, loads of comedy records. You know, so it was like just sifting through that, trying to piece stuff together. And I love that way of working, but I have to say it's laborious and it's draining because you know what you're looking for and you might never find it. Whereas with the drum and bass one, it was all synthetic, writing all my own sounds. So it was I had the knowledge at this point to know what sounds I wanted, could fairly easily make them. And like the mixing and mastering, to be honest, is a thing that takes a long time to learn. And I still wouldn't say I'm all the way there, but I've got to the point now where I am confident. I'll play anything I've done now. That's not an issue anymore. It's now just really about getting stuff finished and getting it actually out there. So
it's about having a discipline, isn't it? Okay, that moment in time has been captured. It's time to get out there.
Move on. Move on and get something else. Something else going. So, like, I guess with any musician, it's just always evolving, that you're always trying to better what you've done, and there's always things you'll listen to by other people that you aspire to be more like that. There's always drive to move forward with it. So getting totally back into the turntablism and all this live stuff with Carl's been the thing I needed, really, just to bring it all together.
With your production, what type of equipment do you use to make your music?
Like over the years, I've had everything. Like when I first got into it, got that MC303, went to music college and ended up working in the music shops, and then just went on a mad gear binge and got myself massively in debt buying loads of stuff that I didn't, because I could get it cheap. You know, you get like deals on it. So
you're getting discount on that. Like.
I was just getting, in my head, it's like I need this full analog studio. I need like a big desk. I need like synths, samplers, bang. So I've had all sorts of stuff over time. I've had like loads of different samplers. I had like a Yamaha A3000, which I've still got, which is like a rack mount sampler with a floppy disk.
Oh, right.
And then I had SCSI on it at one point. So that was like the evolution at the time. You could send samples straight from your computer into it. It took like half an hour to get some in. But and then
all times have changed.
I know, what is mad. And now, to be honest, just in the box, totally in the box. Even with the mastering, I had a point where I was thinking, I want to come out to some nice hardware, and even that now, just for workflow reasons, and it's so easy in the box. Because if I do a mix, take it through to mastering, and it's not quite right, I can basically just go back to the mix, tweak it straight back in. It's just fast.
It's easier. It makes it more convenient now, doesn't it, with the technology?
Like the only thing I probably hardware-wise I would use now, which I'm planning on doing some stuff with Carl with, I've got an Electron Octatrack. I don't know if you're familiar with that. No. It's like a sequencer sampler, but it's got a massive memory on it, like a big compact flash card, so you can put your full tracks in it and just mash them up in real time, do some cool stuff. You could plug turntables into it, and so say if you're scratching, you can program it on a certain part of the bar to capture what you're doing and then maybe delay it or loop it, and So you can actually use it really creatively. It's like a mad box.
Oh,
so,
that sounds really interesting.
Do plan on bringing that back into it at some point.
Yeah, I'd love to see you perform with that.
Well, maybe next time we'll bring something around.
You know, maybe another show or something, another slice and dice. You can get along and cut it up.
Talking about that one, there's a like a producer kind of equivalent thing coming up where I think generally the Eckers, you turn up with like a drum machine or a sampler or something. So we're thinking for that we might take it, put some of our beats in. And,
that'd be awesome.
So yeah.
What's your favourite mixer of all time? The DJ mixer?
I've played on so many. I haven't owned that many, but again, going back to working in the shops, it was just they're all around you. You get to play on everything. I love the rain faders, like Hal said, they're brilliant. I personally still use a DJing 909, which mine's a bit decrepit now, but I did really like the fader on that when I first got it. Mine needs a bit of love.
The cutting was so tight on that, wasn't
at the time. It was like revolutionary.
Yeah, it was.
I must admit, on the new Pioneer controllers, they're not bad. Like, cause when controllers first kind of came through, I wasn't blown away with them at all, but I have to say they're pretty good now. Yeah, Eckler, the Eckler fader.
Wow, yeah. What was it? The Eternal fader.
The Eternal fader.
It was like butter, wasn't it? Cutting on that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it was really good.
If I could buy one of them now, I would.
They're like gold dust, though, aren't they? That had to come by.
So yeah, I don't know which my favourite bit is. A lot of good ones. I kind of like actually the fact that I've been able to experience a few different ones, because when you go out and play live, you could get thrown into anything. So being a little bit, knowing how to shift to adapt to something is good. And I did find that did give me that skill. I could go around to anyone's house and play on anything. It's like, I remember at the beginning of my DJing journey, it wasn't that. You'd go around and if something didn't feel exactly like you did at home, it was like through you.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, don't suffer from that anymore.
It's good to adapt, and I suppose you're working in DJ shops and being around all this equipment, you're able to test it out and just become accustomed to a lot of gear and stuff.
Get to know how they all feel. But my favourite, I don't know. Rain or Eckler, I'm going to go with.
Yeah. Eckler are good, man. Yeah, but both of them are good. But Eckler, they had something special about the build quality and everything.
Like a tank. They were so well built. I wish they still made the hacks. I would.
I would. They kind of went under, didn't they? After like 2007, you didn't hear anything.
I don't know what happened. It was a Spanish company, I think.
I believe so. Yeah,
I think they do a lot of pro audio stuff still, but I don't know if they do the mixers. I don't think they do. Oh, they do the newer one.
They did the rotary mixes, didn't they?
Well, the Slice and Dice the other day, DJ Chili, he turned up and he brought his new O2, I think it is.
Yes.
I think they still do that one.
Do they still?
I don't know if you can get the Eternal fader for it though. I think it comes with a different fader.
Right, okay. So. Yeah, the hacks were the ones, but the 320, 360, 380. Yeah, they were bad boys.
If you're listening, Eckler.
Yeah. Please make some more mixes. So how about like your gigs and your DJ experiences? How's that been for you?
It's been a big gap really in it. Like kind of in those days when I was back in Leeds when I'd moved there and I was at college. Me and my mates put a couple of nights on. Like I said, that's how I met Michael. Met a few other guys from the kind of Leeds scene then, like Cynical and Matman, people like that. Unfortunately, the nights didn't last because we didn't really know how to market them. And the second one we did actually bombed massively. It cost a lot of money.
It's hard.
It was a brilliant night there. Everyone that was there was like, this is amazing. But, there was like 30 people there in the room that could have taken 300. So it's like, got to the point we lost enthusiasm to it, really. And it's really in between. I think saying I've been focused on the production as well. I haven't really pushed the live stuff until really this last 12 months.
Okay.
Like, obviously meeting Carl, meeting you, coming to the Slice and Dices, that's changed my life really. I kind of live for them now as well. It's such good fun. Such a nice community.
Yeah, it is. There's a good community of people up in the north of England cutting it up, and it's nice for us all to get together and just have fun in it.
I remember going to the one in Todmorden last summer and being a little bit kind of anxious, like, well, I've never actually, for years, actually kind of showcased anything I'm doing. Even like there, and then meeting some of the other guys there and watching them, it's like, wow, these aren't, some of these guys are wicked, but there's no airs and graces with anyone. They let anyone go on. They're supportive of everyone. Anyone will explain anything to you.
It's great. I like
it's
that. It's you know, there's no like you got to be a certain level
not
to
at all.
go. Anyone can hang in it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Everyone's welcome.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I would urge anyone to go and not be afraid to go because they think they're not quite up to the skill level. It's like,
no, it shouldn't be about that.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
I understand that in a competition, but even in a competition, everyone got to start from somewhere, haven't they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, man. It's like mutual respect. I'd see from all the tablists, which is good.
The thing you see at these events as well is like everyone's got such different styles and comes from it such a different angle.
Yeah.
Like you can really come away from everyone taking something from it, like direction for yourself of where to go. It's like, wow, seen that guy doing that or busting that pattern. I haven't even thought to do it like that. And you know, you always come away with something.
Yeah, it's very inspiring, isn't it?
Definitely.
It opens up like, you know, different patterns and different styles.
First thing I've done when we've been to them, you know, you might have been there all afternoon, drive home, first thing you do is like straight on turntable, like, right, I'm going to learn that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's good. It's good to like share the knowledge and just vibe off other DJs, isn't it? You know. So, have you had any nightmare experiences while you've been DJing back in the days or anything?
Yeah, there's one that stands out actually.
Okay.
It was in Skipton, my hometown. This has probably been living in Leeds, and it was a bit like, right, we're going to go back and we're going to play in our hometown, and it was a bit like, oh, we're going to look great, like. And I tried practicing beat juggling at the time. I thought I had my head around it enough to go and try it live, and it was Inspector Gadget theme tune, and I'd been practicing it. It was if it had gone well, it would have been wicked.
Yeah.
And I should have thought better of it when we got there because the table was rocking. Like if you know when the bass punched on the speaker, like the needles would it were the wrong.
This was on vinyl. Was it?
Yeah, totally on vinyl. Yeah. Completely the wrong set. But pre-DVS by a mile.
Okay.
Like yeah. And so I went in to do it, and it just bombed and just fell apart, and I just so at that moment it's like, I'm just not going to beat juggle. That's not me. I'm a scratcher. And I think it must have stuck with me because I haven't really explored beat juggling until quite recently, and now I'm thinking like, you idiot, you've wasted this much of your life without exploring something that actually you do understand. It just takes somebody to explain it to you sometimes, or to kind of
someone to inspire you. Yeah, man.
Sometimes it can just be a little throwaway comment someone says about something, and it just makes you think about it differently.
Yeah, true.
Like going back to the slice and dice thing the other day, I was talking to Tommy Peanuts, just like he can do some really complex fast scratching, and he's saying that your fast scratching's good, and he just made some little comment about his 3-click, because I'd always perceived doing like a 3-click as it'd be an open fader scratch, like a 3-click kind of orbit.
Yeah. And
he was like, well, you can kind of tap in. And I was really kind of thinking about it, what that meant. And I think how I'm perceiving it, technically it's not actually a flare, but you wouldn't know. You can kind of tap in twice from the downbeat and then come back. This is for a 2-tap one.
Yeah. And
it does actually sound the same as when you start open and do it, but it's just a bit tidier because you closed at the end. It's a tidier cut.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just some little comment it made just made me think about it differently.
Just spark something.
And I found that in music production as well, just the way someone might word something differently to someone else sometimes just makes you think about it differently.
Yeah, it does. And hanging out with other turntablists, and like you said before, like checking out different people's styles, it can spark something in your mind where it's like,
definitely,
think about that, or
100%.
That'll inspire me to do something, or
progression,
and you can share your techniques with other people as well, and
and I've found that
both ways.
Most of all with Carl, like him introducing me to all these close fader patterns, what you can do with a boomerang that I'd never kind of got that far mentally with it. I'd understood the basic scratch, but how he started breaking it down for me when we met, we're just like, wow, like you can do so much more with it. Like, so collaborating's a good good thing. Like,
definitely. So what's next on the horizon for you?
Just making more music, trying to get these juggles locked down, trying to get these patterns locked down, and hopefully getting it out there, getting it in front of people. Definitely plans to release some music. Like Carl said, we've got this project going with the rapper from Skipton. Got a load of other guys as well that I know, and various musical guys. There's like some good guitarists that want to do some work.
Oh, wicked.
Hopefully get some more vocalists on board, and yeah, just really want to spend my life making music and hopefully getting it out there. And making money's a bit ambitious with it these days, isn't it? But you know, like
know.
But it can't be about the money.
As long as you're following your passion, whatever comes as a bonus in it, you know.
Yeah. I don't think anything else truly makes me happy the same. It's like, it's how I like spending my time. So
that's awesome, man.
Something's gone wrong with their nuclear bomb. In charge of a nuclear bomb. Something's gone wrong with their nuclear bomb.
All these atomic bombs. All these atomic bombs. Bombs. Some mad will get the atomic bomb and blow the world into oblivion.
Something's gone wrong with their nuclear bomb. Something's gone wrong with their nuclear bomb.
And our world will just melt. And our world will just melt. All these atomic bombs.
In charge of a nuclear bomb. Something's gone wrong with their nuclear bomb. Something's gone wrong with their nuclear bomb. In charge of a 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 nuclear bomb.
All these atomic bombs. Some mad will get the atomic bomb and blow the world into oblivion. Some mad will get the atomic bomb and blow the world into oblivion.
Something's gone wrong with their nuclear bomb. Something's gone wrong with
some mad.
Something's gone wrong with their nuclear bomb. Something's gone wrong with
some mad. And our world will just melt. And our world will just melt. And our world will just melt.
in charge of a nuclear bomb. In charge of a nuclear bomb. In charge of a nuclear bomb.
Some mad will get the atomic bomb. All these atomic bombs.